Hello, my name is Anthony Pellegrini, and I will be showing you my unit on evidence of evolution and mechanisms for evolution, and some of the modifications I made to this lesson using principles of visual literacy that we've uh, gone over during the course of this semester. I suppose start the unit overview. This lesson consists of three parts: an introduction to evolution. Um, this introduction takes us through the basic evidence of evolution, homologous structures, molecular evidences, fossil records, things like that. Then from there, the unit goes into physical mechanisms for evolution. How does evolution work? What is the motor which drives it? And a basic assessment. Um, this material, and I will go over in the future, was basic before, very much teacher-centered, kind of dry, as evolution tends to be if not presented in the proper fashion. And it was easy to spice up with some of the ideas that we covered in this class. Things that I chose to go with or to review was color enhancement by color coding, increasing contrast, um, the likes of that, incorporation of video review using Edupuzzle, which is a great program, really gives students the opportunity to interact with videos from a distance out of the classroom. It's really nice. Utilization of inquiry worksheets that utilize flow charts themselves and image analysis, the use of models to answer questions. It's like a worksheet on steroids using those visual elements. The use of storyboards um, as in two ways: one to deliver content, and in another to assess it. So there's some really cool stuff there. Um, my school is a nice school. We have a lot of technology. Um, most of my students are very well versed in using their Chromebook, online resources, Google Classroom, Canvas as um, like an educational support platform. It's all very cool stuff. Like I said, we're one-to-one computing. We use Chromebooks at my school. Because of that, we've kind of endorsed Google Classroom, so I can push out a lot of information to my students using Classroom, get a lot of submissions from them. It's a great way to incorporate technology where you're just like replacing something that you already are doing. So if you wanted to do a worksheet by paper, you can upload it to Google Doc and send it out to the kids, and they can make modifications to a Google document and then send it back to you. So it's kind of nice. We use Mastery Manager as our assessment system, which is super awesome. Great way to collect data, um, and a great way to compare classes and years to each other. So it's a great means of data collection. Canvas also is a great means of data collection. I love the program. Gives students really quick feedback. Um, Allows for, again, online submissions, random quizzes, a lot of resources that students can access during assessment times that really makes that program worth it. And like I said here, EduPuzzle, we'll get that. We'll get more into that in a second, but it's a great program as well. I really recommend it to anybody who likes to use videos as a means of content delivery. I'm just going to go over the basics of my paper and just kind of broke it down into like repeating segments. So you're just going to hear me say, original tool enhancements, visual principle that I've addressed. So here, one of the first things I did was took that introduction to evidence of evolution and um, and took it out of like a notes format and turn it into a station activity. In the station activity, I have students interact with text and visual elements, models, um, graphs, and they use those models and graphs and pictures to derive their own understanding of the evidences of evolution. Um, I love it. It's much more interactive. I developed this myself, uh, and it really goes a long way. The enhancements that I kind of added to this obviously was a whole new way of conveying that information that's student focused, but also incorporates great visual principles. As you can see in the picture um, to the bottom right here, you can see that there's color coded bones in a whole bunch of different um, uh, species. There's humans, lizards, cats, whales, bats, frogs. Uh, but the thing is that all of those bones, all those colors are present on all of the images in different places and different sizes, but basic shape is the same. So the students are going to be asked questions about homologous structures, um, anything they can't answer directly from the image, they have that text to interact with. So it kind of gives that like that dual coding nature to image analysis. So it's really, I think, a very good utensil or tool to use that incorporates a lot of good visual principles. Here we have um, something that didn't exist in my old unit. This would be like a transition phase from evidence of evolution into uh, into I suppose uh, mechanisms of evolution. So I use two things now to kind of bridge that gap. One of them is a video called that I upload through EduPuzzle that has the students interact with that video, analyze that video, and answer some guided questions along with that video. The guided questions are timed, so they can't go back into the video and um, kind of cheat in a way. So they have to pay close attention and then answer these kind of like heads up, check your understandings as you go. That data is collected and then given back to me through like a dashboard. And I think it's really cool. Um, Not only as from the student's perspective that that they can that they're kind of like encouraged to stay on top of their game, but also in the standpoint of kind of like a flipped classroom type uh, technology where I can offload that review, I can offload that assessment outside of my classroom, make some judgments that night, maybe that morning, and then proceed from there the next day. It frees up a lot of my time. Here's a little video of stated clearly. I can play that for you, I think here. Maybe not. I spend too much time here. I'm kind of limited. So it's really cool. It's cartoony, keeps the kids pretty engaged. So we're not going to look at that, but so I uploaded into that program called EduPuzzle, and you can see here on the bottom right image, it's that same video, except there's little question marks that pop up along the way. I just picked a random question there. It says, you know, which of these is not a similarity that whales have with land animals. And they had gone over that in the video, and they would have had to have remembered that, and I really interacted and played close attention to that visual. Um, so movie analysis and with guided questions is going to be like that visual principle that I use, and it would only be possible with the use of Chromebooks and that one-to-one initiative in my school. A little something cool about video. Moving images is something that students pay close attention to. Everybody, in fact, pays close attention to that, and that goes back to the evolutionary origins of Homo sapien, of all animals. This idea that uh, what is moving in your environment typically is extremely important, as in like from a natural perspective, things that are moving around you typically are trying to kill you or typically can be a meal. So we pay very, very close attention to moving images. So I think that's kind of a cool piece to throw in there is like a rationale as to why movies are great, and movie analysis is a great way to convey information to students in a great visual principle to guide your instruction. Um, Parry off of that, I would have gone right from evidence of evolution to notes and a worksheet. Super dry. It was a guided notes worksheet, so they had to take their notes that they took from this PowerPoint and apply it to this worksheet. Very, very dry. Instead, I incorporate a POGIL. This is a process-oriented guided inquiry learning. It's like glorified worksheet, or like a worksheet on steroids, and it's again dual coding theory. It has text in there and images, so they read a little bit of that text, analyze that image, analyze that flow chart, and answer some guided questions from there. It's totally hands off on the teacher's perspective, other than we might whiteboard questions, and I'll have questions for those groups to kind of pull out different bits of information that I want to get from them, or kind of clear up some misconceptions. So it's really a great tool to use in the biology classroom. Um, and marries very well to, like I said, whiteboard presentations to kind of really test those students' knowledge. Here we have like the last part of my unit. We'll go through mechanisms of natural selection. The POGIL will have introduced that. Um, this would reinforce that. It's like a comic on natural selection. It's hilarious. Um, so it takes the place of notes, like I said before, and a child's book that I would usually write, have my students write. I like this better because, again, this is a storyboard. Obviously, it's a comic, uh, but the kids are forced to interact with it, and then I have them act it out, and it's super funny. The kids get super engaged in it, so it's not only do they interact with that storyboard just by reading it, but they also interact with it by acting it out. So it's great. And then they use that idea to create their own storyboard, their own way of showing evidence for evolution, or mechanisms of evolution. So it's super great. And again, it's storyboards, image analysis. Kind of see what was going on in each one of those. I give the kids, as you can see in the middle picture here, I give the kids like a little checklist of like what I want in that, to kind of give them some direction. Again, it's very hands off, very student centered, a great way um, to get that knowledge to the kids. And then we have our effectiveness. So, like I said, we were going to create a storyboard for mechanisms of evolution. I give them that checklist. I grade them on a rubric, a standards-based rubric. I usually upload that to Canvas as an assignment. So they either take a picture of their storyboards or email it to me or give it to me in person, but that assignment stays on Canvas, and that rubric is uploaded. So I'll grade their stuff, and I'll just click on all. These are all clickable um, uh, rationales for the rubric, and I'll click grade, 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 click submit, instant feedback. Not only is it instant grade, but it's instant feedback. They know where they get their points off. There's a little comment section that I can address the big name brand things that they did right or wrong, or misconceptions that they had that it was evident in their assessment. So it's a great way to really not only use that assessment as a way for me to grade them, but also to clear up some misconceptions. And then I give them a little survey monkey at the end, just for like brutal honesty. How do you think that lesson went? So that's about it for me. I'm about out of time, 14:51. Thanks for listening, and have a great summer.